in addition to the introduction, which I've read before, how to use this book. Yes, this book does come with some instructions. Think of them as your joy spot finding manual. Some prep. I recommend reading a chapter a day and taking time to write and reflect on the subject of the chapter. This book can be read through like a novel, but you won't get nearly the impact for which it was intended. Ideally, take some time at the beginning of your day to read and reflect on the content of the chapter for best results. Think of this as your ideal joy spot finding prescription. Each chapter will include a reflection section. Take the time to be with the questions and write down or think about the first thing that comes to mind when you answer the question. That's your intuition. You need that. That's where joy is birthed. Some tools and questions will be repeated on occasion. That's so you know that these techniques apply to many situations and the questions might be similar. This is done to help you dig deeper and have a deeper understanding of you. You will also need some self-care, always. Think about how you can create space every day for you time. Yes, you. You need to be your top priority, otherwise everything else suffers. Maybe that's 10 minutes with a cup of coffee in the morning. Maybe that's a 20-minute walk by yourself, maybe a bath. You need time to nurture you. You are like the soil in the garden. And if you're going to cultivate joy, you need some lovely soil in your life. A self-care practice does that. I work with people just like you. And from time to time, I'll remind you that you can reach out for support. Either way, I'm here for you. I have many complimentary coaching sessions to help you get out of the grind and get your groove on. Reach out and grab some joy-giving goodies, again, at findingyourjoyspot.com. You'll also notice a letter at the beginning of every chapter, and this corresponds to PERMA, 5 aspects of flourishing identified by Martin Seligman. Dr. Seligman is known as the founder of positive psychology and has been studying the must-haves for well-being and flourishing for over 40 years. The acronym stands for P for positive emotion, E for engagement, R for relationships, M for meaning, and A for achievement. The science of PERMA is going on in the background of what you're going to encounter in this book. Can you hear my science teacher passing out and hitting the ground? If you read the chapters and then you answer the questions after each section, you'll digest the information more effectively. We integrate information by writing. It helps a lot. Take the time to answer the reflection prompts. Go with the first thing that pops into your head, and journaling is exceptionally good for you, and it's very transformational. There's a lot of science behind this goodness as well. If that's not a pool you're willing to dive into, consider taking the questions and talking about your answers with someone, or take a question or two and think about them over the course of your day. Let's unpack PERMA. Positive emotion. This element has perhaps the most obvious connection to happiness. Focusing on positive emotion is more than smiling. It is the ability to remain optimistic and view one's past, present, and future from an open-minded perspective. A positive view can help you in relationships and help to inspire to be more creative and take more chances. In all of our lives, we have highs and lows. Focusing on the lows does not increase our chances of does increase our chance of experiencing overall lower moods. We will look at some tough situations, but with the plan to move through them to find positive emotions like joy on the other side. Regardless, there are many health benefits to optimism and positivity, which you'll discover while going through the book. When a child completes a complex Lego car that requires their concentration, they might beam with joy and satisfaction from their work. This type of positive emotion is crucial to increasing overall well-being. It can help people enjoy the daily tasks in their lives and persevere with challenges they will face by remaining optimistic about the outcomes. E for engagement. Activities that meet our need for engagement flood the body with positive neurotransmitters and hormones that elevate one's sense of well-being. This engagement helps us to remain present as well as synthesize the activities where we find calm, focus, and joy. People find enjoyment in different things, whether it's playing an instrument, engaging in sports, dancing, hobbies, or working on an interesting project. When time truly flies by during the activity, it is likely because the people involved were experiencing engagement. We all need something in our lives that absorbs us into the current moment, creating a flow of blissful immersion in a task or activity. This type of flow of engagement stretches our intelligence, skills, and emotional capabilities. Relationships. Relationships and social connection are crucial to meaningful lives. Too often, the pursuit of happiness has this Western bias of individuality, where each person steers their personal happiness ship to shore. This is not realistic. We are social animals who are hardwired to bond and be dependent on other humans, hence the basic need for healthy relationships. We thrive on connections that promote love, intimacy, and a strong emotional and physical interaction with other humans. Positive relationships with one's parents, siblings, peers, coworkers, and friends are key ingredients to overall joy. Strong relationships also provide support in difficult times that requires resilience. Basically, our pain centers become activated when we are at risk of isolation. From an evolutionary perspective, isolation was the worst thing we could do for survival because it meant that we would be cut off from other people and our chances of being fed and protected from danger were vastly decreased. These activation centers are like fire alarms in the body, discouraging people from continuing to feel this pain and ideally towards reconnecting socially with someone or a group. We need neurologically to know we belong to a group. It helps us feel safe and valued and has for millions of years. M is for meaning. Having an answer as to why we are on this earth is a key ingredient that drives us towards fulfillment. Meaning doesn't need to come from religion or spirituality. Working for a good company, raising children, volunteering for a greater cause, and expressing ourselves creatively can also hold meaning. Unfortunately, the media worships glamour and the pursuit of material wealth, impacting many people to feel like money is the gateway to happiness. While we do need money for our basic needs, once the basic needs are met and financial stress is not an issue, money is not what provides people with happiness. Understanding the impact of your work and why you choose to show up in the office may help you enjoy the tasks and become more satisfied with what you do. And finally, accomplishments, which is where the book ends. Having goals and ambition in life can help us to achieve things that can give us a sense of accomplishment. You should set realistic goals that you know you can meet. Once you've reached the goals, you'll be filled with a sense of satisfaction, pride, and fulfillment. Having accomplishments in life is important to push ourselves to thrive and flourish. In addition to all the science that shows up to flourish, it's important to know that you're here for a reason. I don't simply mean to be reading this book or listening to this book right now. I mean you were put on this planet for a reason. You aren't like the other 7-ish billion humans that currently inhabit our world. You are you. Precious, precisely made to be you. And I want to tell you a secret. Get a little closer. You were made for something very special. Maybe you forgot what it was. Maybe you left it behind in some previous chapter of your life. And perhaps you've never felt a deep, delicious embrace or that feeling of it gurgling in your throat. It's what makes you alive and makes life so worth living. It's joy. And joy is what you get when you live your truth. It's a compass to find your way back to yourself. Want more joy? Be more you. If the thought of who you are, or even not knowing who you are, makes you feel longing or loss or confusion or even pissed off, then you're in the right place. This book is your book, your journey back to yourself. It's a journey to joy and also a journey to you. If you wouldn't know joy if it smacked you in the face or if it kissed you fully on the lips, then I'm over the moon delighted that you're here. This is the book that will help you write your book of joy. Before we cheapen this wee 3-letter word, I want to be clear. This is not some watered down how to be happy all the time plan. Joy is about you and your truth, and you can feel joy when your life is going your way, and most importantly, you can experience the deepest joy in the darkest moments. It serves as our main sail on the high seas and keeps us on track during the storms that life can bring. It anchors us to the shores of our being and gives us the keenest sense of direction so we can move toward it and fill our day with purpose and meaning and with the richness that success brings. A wee FYI, that's what science says is the essence of well-being or flourishing, and we'll call it joy. In the pages ahead, I've laid out a framework to allow you to know in the marrow of your bones more of who you are, what makes you so exquisitely you, and how to sow more meaning and goodness into your everyday life. That's how you find your joy spot. Discover yourself, your goodness, and your bliss. Let's find your joy spots. They're waiting for you.